Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast, courtesy of Odyssey. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, and Mario Heron. Mario will jump up in that screen in just a second. Again, Chargers coming off a disappointing loss on Sunday night there's Mario, against the Chiefs. Chargers, though, looking to get back on track. A big holiday weekend, of course, Thanksgiving weekend. I think this is honestly, guys, the time where the rest of the NFL is judging where you are. We all know what preseason football is. We all know where you're kind of getting your balance and figure out what you are. But championship teams now seem to raise it a level from this week on, right? We know who's going to be the teams that make a run for the division and the teams that are going to have success in the playoffs, and hopefully that one team remaining that wins the Super Bowl. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. Every Thanksgiving is good to watch. There's always the standard things. You got good food, good family. Watch the Lions get their crap pushed in, and then you hang out with your friends the next day. But it is good, though, on Thanksgiving to know kind of where you stand. I'm not happy with where the Chargers stand, but I'm also not pissed off at the same time. I think after watching the Cardinals game last night, I'm pretty happy about that. That looks like a really, really bad team. So hopefully we can get back on track.
Yeah, it's definitely at the point in the season where it's like, all right, now everything really matters. Now it's that extra gear. I compare it to like kind of in baseball seasons, kind of like after August, where it's like, all right, the casual fan, kind of every other game's really locked in now. NBA season's kind of end of March going to April, where now you're really locked into what's going on. And right now you kind of have a clear standing of where some teams are. And then sadly on Thanksgiving, you have to watch the Lions. I don't know what they have in their contract that gets them Thanksgiving every single year, but God bless them. And then you have Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys. You just never know what you're going to get.
What's always interesting is, Thanksgiving games. It's, we all know the Lions are the first game, no matter what. And I think when you're a kid and even as you grow to become an adult, you're going, man, there's NFL on Thanksgiving Day. I'm like, what are you going to do? A lot of times you're stuck around, basically your house with family members you don't see except on Thanksgiving. I mean, it's the greatest thing to help pass the time of what would you do when you have a conversation with people you don't see for over a year? And all of a sudden you got, I don't care if it's the Lions and whoever they're playing, you have something to pass the time, but you just grow up on it that it's Lions football and it's the NFL. And then guess what? Here comes another game. And then the NFL, when you said they couldn't top it, they added a third game all of a sudden, like 10 years ago. And like, this is absolutely fantastic. They made a holiday completely around the NFL. And it works out great for me as a fan. When I was a kid, you guys are younger than me. It used to be Lions game on. All of a sudden, man, guys start putting the shoes on, grab a football, we're going outside. We're all having a good time. No one ever sat there and said, hey, I'm Eric Hipple, one of the Lions quarterbacks, and was pretending you were that guy. But it did get you in the mood to go out and play, to go, hey, man, I love this game, love everything about it. You eat, Cowboy game on, and then again, the game at night. The NFL is genius. Again, it comes down to this marketing purpose. But as much as you might hate the Lions, and everybody I think does, unless you're a Detroit fan on Thursday, it is the one time that the Lions get an opportunity to be on prime time, right? I mean, the whole world is watching, the whole country is watching when the Lions are playing that first game.
I think the Lions are kind of fun to watch, to be honest with you, because Dan Campbell's like nose is all red and he's screaming and everything's all weird over there and they got all the grit. But I think this is the best also Thanksgiving schedule that I can remember. There's always like one or two really, really bad games. Usually it's the Lions game because they are worse than they usually are. This year they're actually better. But which one piques your guys' interest the most out of these three games? You got Bills, Lions, Giants, Cowboys, and Patriots, Vikings, Mario.
First off, I'm with you. I love watching the Lions right now, and Dan Campbell is always on that brink of I'm gonna cry or punch someone in the face, and you don't really know like which way he's gonna go. Yeah, it's
big
insane.
fan of that.
Yeah, just all around football. It's interesting. Like, it's great 3 games, to be honest with you, just because the spreads are really interesting. And honestly, the Giants Cowboys, I know people are going to say like Patriots Vikings, but Giants Cowboys really piqued my interest just because Giants' success they have had this year, they're kind of getting their first real test. They opened at such a low or such a big underdog against the Cowboys, which is also just crazy to think about when you look at the records and then the standings of where they're at. And it's just so crazy to look at this Cowboys team after they just demolished the Vikings. And you're like, okay, so this is a contender. Like, this is a real team. Like, Mike McCarthy is going to be fearful. Like, I never thought I'd say that again in my life besides 2010. I never thought I'd literally see that ever again. So that's definitely a game that's, like, surprises me. And it'd be great. Twitter would be great for Cowboys to follow the Giants. That'd be a great day on social media.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. I mean, we always know the NFL and the fan base, they push the Cowboys down your throats, and you're sitting there, you're looking at the Cowboys, and a lot of times you have to sit there and go, it's Dallas. I mean, it is kind of strange how the Cowboys have become the team of the entire NFL, right? And you look at it for ratings purposes, no matter what national network you turn on a Monday morning, it's always Cowboy story first, quarterback story, whatever else. It's always the Dallas Cowboys. That is the best game. It's funny when you guys said you enjoy watching the Lions. The Lions are the only team out of those teams that's not a playoff team right now, correct? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else is basically a playoff team or has a chance to be in the playoffs, whereas the Lions, their defense has been so bad, but the Lions have won a couple games in a row. All of a sudden, Dan Campbell is, as you said, most likely to either cry or punch himself in the face. I mean, within 30 seconds, he's most likely to do that, to do both things to himself. You're going, this guy's a loon. I mean, his press conference about biting kneecaps and getting up and doing it again was crazy, right? I mean, everyone's sitting there watching, going, this is your guy. This is your team leader. Offensive side, it's working because they have talent on the offensive side of the ball. Defense, if you watch Hard Knocks, you knew the Lions were going to struggle. And then they fire guys. And when they fire coaches with a horrible defense like that, you feel bad. You're like, dude, that's a guy's resume. It's done. You gave him nothing to succeed with. I agree the Lions are fun to watch because of the offense, and that keeps people around. But do you guys honestly believe the Lions are a team going in the right direction? I know we aren't supposed to spend time on Lions football, but do you guys enjoy watching it? But do you think the Lions are a team that's a future contender?
I do. I actually really crazy to say
Really?
that. I actually do. I think they're Jamal Williams is playing the best of his career right now without DeAndre Swift, and they're getting back Jamison Williams, the star receiver from Alabama. I actually like the Lions, and I think Aiden Hutchinson, I hate to say it, is better than I thought he was going to be. I didn't think he was worthy of the number one, or he wasn't the number one pick, but people were saying he was going to be the number one pick. I didn't buy into it because I thought, Michigan defenders are pretenders, but I was wrong. He looks really good, and I actually like watching the Lions. Like I said, there's not one bad game this Thursday, which makes it great for NFL fans, but it makes it great because there's a lot of star players as well. That's what makes the NFL great as a whole. When you watch the Christmas Day basketball games, you always get like the San Antonio Spurs and like Keldon Johnson. You're like, what the hell am I watching right now? So, no, this is the greatest thing, dude. Football with your family, and then all the teams are actually contenders. I think the Lions are contenders too at 4-6.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Josh. What the Lions are building is actually like something. Like Amon St. Brown's a tough receiver. Jameson Williams is a receiver that we expect him to be. Dude, they could be pretty scary with a pretty good backfield and Williams and Swift, if Swift can ever stay healthy for 2 games in a row. That's a pretty good offense. Their defense is a little bit of their drop off. Aiden Hutchinson, I'm with you. I thought he'd get bodied in the NFL. I was just like, dude, this is just too classic. You've seen it before. And then when you see him on a Hard Knocks too, it's like, great. I bet the family's really nice, but it's like, you guys are just the most classic higher middle class suburban family of all time. Like you came out of a Hallmark movie. That's what's like going on. Like literally that. I can't imagine their Christmas and everything like that. Praise be. But I do. I like what they're building over in Detroit a lot. Looking forward to Thanksgiving games. Getting a little turkey and not a big turkey. More go ham. But looking forward to it and betting on it to enough where I want to be a fan of the team. That's always the fun one.
All right, so the Lions, just because as we're watching, the Lions are 4-6. All right, I mean they win this game, all of a sudden you go, man, the Lions are almost a 500 team. Kind of crazy when you see what's going on. I just laughed when you guys said building towards something better. I think Lions fans would tell you that started in 1941 and it hasn't come full circle. They're still waiting. They're one of those teams that never been to a Super Bowl. It just over and over. You have their star players who retire in their prime. You know what I mean? Just because they can't take it anymore. But that's the organization. I got to ask you, Mario, because Josh and I go through this. Do you have anybody in your house that on Thanksgiving Day game, somebody walks in the room and go, guys, do we have to have the TV on with everybody here? It goes to turn the TV off.
So my mom kind of knows better now. I think her dad, my poppy, was kind of I almost said a curse word, was kind of a dirtbag a little bit. So he was like, if you touch a TV, you're done. So she kind of knows better. The annoying part is my grandpa will come in and God bless him, but he comes in and he just sits down and then he goes, can we put the Kansas Jayhawk college basketball game on? I'm like, they don't play today. Or the Purdue college basketball. I'm like, they don't play today. And he goes, yeah, but I want to watch. I didn't catch it. can you go back and like find the recording on like Hulu or something? I think I recorded on Hulu. Can we watch it? He does it like 4 times a day. And I
Is
just
he
tell
being
him, I said,
serious?
yeah, no, he's serious every time. He's very serious every time. And it gets very annoying. Very annoying. So we have a plan now how to dodge it. Like I just like, oh, the remote doesn't work anymore. Or just
Yeah.
we make up some lie. But yeah, that part I can't imagine. Does that happen to you guys? That would piss me off to no end.
Yeah, it happens to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens to us. Yeah, we have people who aren't sports fans in the family. We have a huge family like you do, Mario. I'm talking we're going to have 50 or 60 people at Thanksgiving. Okay, and we're going to sit around. Josh will be the closest ones to the TV, and someone's going to walk in, and not some guy who's in his 70s who doesn't care about sports. It'll be someone like exactly Josh's age. We'll sit down and go, does this have to be on all the time? I mean, this is all you guys do. Like, we're just stupid. And we're like, this is what the rest of the country's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what you expect us to do.
Nerd.
Have a conversation. And it's not like Josh and I go, hey, we can't talk right now. The Lions are on. We'll talk to you all you want, but the TV has to stay on. I can focus on both. Whatever you're telling me, and at the same time, watch Jared Goff throw an interception in the fourth quarter. I'm going to catch it all. But don't tell me to turn the TV off where it's black. Come on.
You know how many words I can get in between 30 seconds between the plays?
Yeah.
I could talk my butt off in those 30 seconds. And people forget the Lions are getting a great draft pick with the Rams losing all these games too. The Lions are going to be a team to watch. That division is dog crap with the Packers and the Bears.
It's terrible.
The Vikings, who knows how good they are. All 3 games are inside domes, which is kind of weird on Thursday. I don't know, man. I just love football in general. And then people always try to say when you're sitting on the couch, you guys want to play Pictionary? It's like, no, I don't want to play Pictionary. I want to watch football. If I wanted to play Pictionary, I would have brought Pictionary. I obviously didn't bring anything because I didn't want to play anything. I just want to watch people play football. It's like an American tradition. Pictionary is not an American tradition. At least I'm not aware of it, unless that was a new thing. But yeah, I just like watching football with my dad and just like eating food. And that's what you're supposed to do.
So a big thing in Midwest, people like, do you want to play euchre? And it's like,
What?
no, I want to play. Yeah.
Hold on, you gotta explain it now. Help us out. Help the people.
Euchre. So I like. So funny enough, every time I've attempted to play it or like tried to play it, I was overserved, and I like end up either losing like very very badly, or I just luck out and win. It's just a card game. We're like Diamonds High Suit. And you play, it's the stupidest card game ever invented. But in the Midwest, it's like a religion. And so people are like, do you want to play it? I'm like, no, I don't want to play it. And people in my family now use that game for their excuse not to hang out with their kids. So it screws me over because I hate playing the game. But if I don't play it, I have, 6-year-old Rugrat, 4-year-old Devil, and then a 1-year-old Monster. And then next thing you know, they're attacking me. And then I'm either wrestling one of them, or my niece is bossing me around some reason, or my 1-year-old is just screaming his head off at me for no reason. So it's an unfair game that gets put on me every single year, and it's the worst card game of all time. And there's my annual AirPod out of my ear.
I saw it that time.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Nice.
People say to me, they see it happen all the time. Mario called that to me. He said, my earpod goes out at least one a show. And then people have said to me this week, hey, dude, I just literally watched and I could see that earpod go flying once a show. And I go, he says it happens. That's fine. I actually caught it for the first time all year. I caught the damn thing. That's nuts. All right. I want to get into this Charger team a little bit. All right. I think we all had a chance to calm down a little bit. It's funny. We were all so angry a couple days ago when the Chargers lost on Sunday night to the Chiefs. And it's one of those where I don't know why we fall for it. I mean, this is what sports fans do. But the Chargers losing to the Chiefs, and in the same fashion every time. It's always Mahomes to Kelsey, right? And you're going, man, how many times are we going to fall for this? And yet we're going to fall for it again next time they face each other too, to go, this is our time. I even told someone, I go, I'll buy you dinner in a local restaurant if the Chargers don't win this game. And of course I fell short and lost. But this is the difference of the Chargers and the Chiefs, guys, to me, is right now the Chiefs know how to win. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say that. Here they are 8-2. Of course, they know how to win. Look at all the games the Chiefs have played this year. When you look at their schedule and you go, it came right down to the very end, and yet they're able to pull these games out. If you were to go through every one of these games in reverse, every game that's close with the Chiefs, it's amazing what their record would be. right? It's kind of insane to think that they would have lost to the Raiders. They would have lost to the Chargers twice. All these close games, they would have lost to the Titans. All these close games that go the Chiefs' way are incredible. And so there has to be a mindset to me that what changes a team to going, we win the close ones, to win, not to split them, but to say, this is where we win. We win 80% of the time in a game that's going to be close. What a difference that makes for your team, for your franchise, for your fan base.
Obviously, it's a mindset and the consistency of your head coach. If your head coach has the, confidence, like we're going to come back and we're going to win this game, which Andy Reid always does. He never looks rattled. I think you have a better chance. But when you have Brandon Staley at the helm and Joe Lombardi doing a draw when you need to freaking get down the field, I mean, if you're on the sideline, you're like, what the hell? This coaching staff's incompetent. That's the difference between the Chiefs and the Chargers. They actually know what the hell they're doing on the other side. And also Patrick Mahomes, I said it last show, he's the most clutch player in the league. Tom Brady's obviously the most clutch player of all time, but right now, Mahomes is the most clutch player in the league. I don't think there's a doubt in any of our heads that they were going to score at the end of that game.
Yeah.
You knew the Chiefs were going to score at 146 left on the clock. And that's just the mindset they've had for the last 4 years since Patrick Mahomes has been the quarterback, a confidence that no matter what, we're always in this game. The Chargers are the opposite. I think if the Chargers are in a close game, you almost think how are they going to mess this up?
Yeah, I agree with both of you, and I'm kind of combining it both. They have Kelsey in the post game conference going, we've been practicing this all summer. This is a routine for them. It's not something that when they get in this 2-minute drill, when they get in this end of game situation, it's not like they don't know what's going to happen. No, they have an exact plan of what's going to happen against any team, against any situation, against any coverage. They knew it. They knew their plan. They executed their plan, and they knew that it was going to work from the start. That's the next level. That's what takes teams to a good team, to that Super Bowl caliber team. That's why we sit here and say the Chiefs are, the favorite to win the Super Bowl. And that's why we don't say the Eagles. That's why we don't say the Chargers. That's why we don't say the Minnesota Vikings. There's reasons why, and that's because these teams, such as the Chiefs, have just perfected this ability to pull out a win at any moment in any game that not a lot of other people can do. And I do agree with you. I think it does come down to coaching. I also think it comes down to that's the Herbert next step. That's that next step that takes you into the Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Allen column, and not the Kirk Cousins column where, this guy's a lot of talent, but what can he do for us? Can he really win us the big games? I think that's a big outlook on what could be in his future.
When you look at teams that are successful, like where we want the Chargers to be, there is that combination, right, of head coach, quarterback, offensive receiver, whether it's a tight end or a receiver. There is that combination. There's that relationship. I would love to ask Andy Reid, is this as good as it gets for you? Meaning you have the right quarterback. He had Alex Smith before, and they went to the postseason, but it wasn't the time. And he had Mahomes was the backup. Remember that the first year that Mahomes was in the league. And then you look at Andy Reid again with the Eagles, and he had Terrell Owens, and he had Donovan McNabb, and he had himself. And then, of course, he ran against Tom Brady and Belichick in the Super Bowl. But at the same time, nothing against McNabb, but I don't think McNabb's close to what Mahomes is. The combination of what you need. So what you look at the Chargers, you guys tell me, I believe you do have the receiver that Herbert needs. I think it's the coach that's missing. What is that combination of the three-headed monster that the Chargers don't have? And I don't know if that coach is out there. This time it's not a shot at Staley going, there's another guy. I don't know if that coach is out there. We say Sean Payton all the time. I would like to believe it's Sean Payton. We saw Sean Payton win with the Saints and Drew Brees. But when I look at the Chargers, they aren't there because they don't have all the pieces in place to make that run. And I think the teams that go ahead and win, they have that connection, those pieces. That's why it was always important that Brady had Gronkowski with him. Yeah.
My question back to you would be, do they not have the pieces from a head coach only perspective, or are you talking about from a player's perspective too? Because, Brandon Staley's calling the defensive plays, but it also seemed like they had no problem scoring on our players either. So how much onus do you put on the players and the coach?
For me, I put it a combination of both. I don't know what the schemes are. So all I can tell you is where I follow the ball and see what the scoreboard says. I don't know what happens during the week, what the defense is trying to do, whatever their plans are. We shared that group message the other day about people that covered Kelsey and the success rate against Kelsey when the Chargers were covering him. I don't know. I from what I see, And to defend Justin Herbert here is he plays with guys that don't show up every week. Like he doesn't know who is starting wide receivers on a regular basis. I understand the Chiefs has had a ton of injuries, but you know who wasn't hurt? Kelsey wasn't hurt. His number one guy played. His number one guy shows up every single time. You know, that you take Kelsey out of that Chiefs offense, and I understand Mahomes is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Mahomes isn't going to look the same with Kelsey out. And Herbert, man, 1 week his tight end's out. Next week, Keenan Allen's out, which turns into weeks and weeks. You know, Mike Williams is out. You don't even know. I mean, here's a guy that's a 500 quarterback that hasn't had that confidence factor. Like Mahomes, as you just said, Mario, at the end of the game, Mahomes knew he was going to drive the ball down the field. He knew. We not only have we worked on this 100 times, he's confident in his ability to be able to do it. Has Justin Herbert even developed the confidence yet to go, I'm that guy?
No.
Yeah, I mean, Josh, you played that position. The rate in your heart, okay, from the first year you played football, okay, to the last year you played football, how much slower is the game? And you're talking playing at a minor level compared to where Mahomes is. Mahomes isn't rattled at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a slight on Justin Herbert. I hope people aren't taking it that way. It's just Mahomes is that good. Like he's on a level right now that nobody in the league is. Okay, I got a question for Mario now. How much do we put on Herbert? He throws that pick at the end of the game. You say, he didn't have much time to go down the field, but it seems like Justin Herbert almost doesn't do the same thing ever in those situations. Like he's not the Josh Allen. Josh Allen's been screwing up a lot lately, but Josh Allen will take you down the field a lot of the time. Justin Herbert seems like he's not that guy. Joe Burrow seems like he's that guy. They get compared all the time.
You're right.
When thinking about this, I go back to, and I really wish I could remember the game. I want to say it was either Houston or Jacksonville. But if I remember correctly, we're going into half, and we have just under 2 minutes left. We have 2 timeouts, and we don't do anything with the ball. We try one play to go downfield, and then we don't do anything. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. So we see that, right? We see that, and then we see the ending to the Chiefs game that we saw this past weekend. So when I see those two things and the fact that those two things stick out in my head, my thought process goes to, yes, Herbert does need to play better. I will agree. But at the same time, he wasn't prepared. Like the fact that there's these 2 situations where we need to score quick, those situations aren't clearly not practiced because it's not performed well. And if they're practiced, they're not practiced at 110% like they should be because it is not performed on the field. Now, who's that on? A lot of people will say coaching. A lot of people say it's just players not practicing hard. But I go back to, if you're not prepared to win the game, don't expect yourself to win the game. And that situation just didn't seem like they're prepared. And my whole thing was Staley. I do think Staley is a good coach. I think he'll end up being a really good coach defensively, or maybe a head coach sometime in the future. But he's a defensive-minded coach, right? Our defense is not very good. We still can't defend the run at all in these past 2 years he's been here. I'm not saying you need an offensive mind for Herbert, but what I'm saying is if you're a defensive head coach, offensive head coach, your first priority should be to have that side of the ball pretty figured out. Belichick, defensive coach, has it figured out. McDermott, defensive coach, has it figured out. Shanahan, offensive coach, completely figured out. That's my only problem when I look at kind of the Chargers is if you're a defensive coach, why isn't your defense figured out? Like, why isn't one side of the ball at least taken care of before we get into anything else?
I'm with you on that. I'm with you. If I was hiring a coach, it would always be an offensive-minded coach. All the rules in the NFL are designed for the offense. And you've seen, of course, you're going to come back and there are people saying, well, look at the Patriots, look at the Bills, defensive-minded coaches. The league is changing in a way where it's all meant for offense. It's all meant for scoring. They know what they're doing. They know that's what keeps the viewers. It's what keeps the casual NFL fan around is by watching points. Josh, going back to your question about Justin Herbert and that interception at the end, it was one of those things people were talking about. I don't know about you guys, but having watched every single play of the Chargers all season long, they weren't going to win. They weren't going to get those points. It didn't matter. He threw an interception with 16 seconds left. They weren't even close to field goal range, but everybody wanted to point the finger again. Justin Herbert this, Justin Herbert that. If I'm Justin Herbert, I'm not saying you go to the media and complain, but man, you'd love it for a story to leak. If Justin Herbert was really upset in the locker room before the media jumped in. Boy, Justin Herbert was really upset at practice. Justin Herbert's really starting to call people out. Because, man, this is his reputation. Dude, you're a 500 quarterback. You're a 500 quarterback right now who hasn't been to the postseason. Everyone who watches you on a regular basis thinks you're really good. But what are you? You are what your record says you are. right? You're an average quarterback is what your record says you are. We all don't believe that. The three of us don't believe it. But that's what the record says. That's what he is. He's an average quarterback. That's why he needs help. You are not doing him any favors. These quarterbacks come around once in a lifetime. You look at all the horrible teams in the NFL where fans don't have that quarterback to say, man, I got one. There's a reason to go out and buy a jersey. The Chargers have one. That's why if Staley is gone after this year, whoever the next coach is, and you don't go get an offensive-minded coach like a Sean Payton, dude, you aren't doing this kid any favors at all.
You're doing a disservice to his talent if you don't get an offensive-minded coach. Mario made a great point. The difference between the Chiefs and the Chargers is, let's go back to the first half of the game. The Chiefs had like no time left on the clock, and they were trying to get whatever they could. The Chargers never do that. The Chiefs are literally practicing in-game, emergency situation kind of thing. Let's just get as many points as we can. They're never scared. And that is such a mindset thing for the rest of the team. Also, the thing I don't understand is my eyes lie to me every week when I watch Justin Herbert because it doesn't make any sense. I watch him at Oregon. He does the same thing. Doesn't win, but he'll make like 5 throws a game. You're like, what the hell did I just see? It honestly just does not make any sense. It would be like if you're watching Spider-Man and right before he saved somebody, he got diarrhea and he like left. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, how can a guy with all this talent not finish the job? It's literally that's a horrible analogy, but literally the same thing with Justin Herbert. He makes all these throws fast, can do everything on the field, but he doesn't finish what he started kind of thing. And then you got to say, how do you gauge this guy as a quarterback, as a player? How do you know what he really is? Because then you watch the Dolphins, who he gets compared to every time with Tua, and he's just, easy throws, right? The opposite of Justin Herbert, these little easy throws all over the place, and he's winning games left and right. So I don't really know what to think when it comes to Justin Herbert comparing to other quarterbacks.
Okay, so
all I know is, hold on, wait a second. You can't just let that go. Hold on. All I know is, can you imagine being in line to see the debut of the new Spider-Man movie, and people are walking out going, I can't believe that girl fell off the building and died because Spider-Man had an upset stomach. Like what?
Exactly. But that's the Charger game. You leave that's the same thing. You leave the Charger game saying, how do they lose that game? It's the same thing. Justin Herbert couldn't be stopped, but yet they lost. It's the same exact thing.
Tom Holland's reading the script. What happens in this movie?
That's what I'm saying. I've seen this movie 100 times with the Chiefs.
Spider-Man got food poison at Chipotle. He can't save Mary Jane.
He had to bow out.
Yeah.
Oh my!
But how do you judge Mario? My question to you is, how do you judge Justin Herbert? Seriously, how do you gauge this whole thing?
So for me, it's really hard because I think some of that also goes to, like, do you take wins as a QB stat? Because I'm on, and this has been debated to me before, and I'm on both sides of it. Because my one side, it's like, you look at guys like Tom Brady, who didn't have a talented team, but he still won, and he made games where like he single-handedly like won those games for him. You look at, I'll throw this guy in there because I'm scared that if Chargers mishap with Herbert, it could be his situation. Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck had some games where you're like, how the hell did you guys win? You guys O-line's middle schoolers, and he just somehow won. So that's like confusing to me because I'm like, I don't know if that's like official stat when I look into for QB, but at the same time, the argument to take Herbert over Tua, over Burrow, over Lamar Jackson gets harder and harder every single week. Doesn't get easier for you. I think that's like the hard point to make is like, yeah, I want to say he's above all those guys. But at this point, at 5-5, I can't tell you that he is. I can't tell you I wouldn't take Burrow over him. Like there's just numbers are going to tell me something completely different. And I'm going to end up sounding like a homer. So I think in that sense, it's like I'm going to engage him as you're not in tier 1 right now. You're in tier 2. And in tier 2, I don't know if I'm putting you number 1. I think you're still might go a little lower than that just because of how things have gone so far this season. You tell me if I'm wrong here, Dave, because I'm curious for your thoughts.
No, I think it comes down to, okay, wins and losses, people go, yeah, it matters. Look, Tom Brady, and I tell you what, this is one of those things where I always say the games are better on TV than in person. And Tom Brady, I wouldn't say that. When I've seen Tom Brady play in person, and I've probably seen him play in person 10 times. He's a different guy in person than on TV. On TV, he looks like a guy that's just managing. He's he understands the offense. He understands the defense. He always says, there's nothing you can show me that I haven't seen already. when you go to see Tom Brady in person, number one, his arm is much better than what I think he gets credit for. Two, he doesn't throw the ball extremely deep, but you know what Tom Brady has always had? He's always had an offensive coordinator that has protected him, meaning that, hey, the plays are simple, easy to manage, to push the ball down the field, to get it in the end zone. He's great in the red zone, doesn't make mistakes. Tom is outstanding at that. But again, it comes down to coaching that's always been there to protect him. Right now, guys, I hate to say it, I would take Joe Burrow in a heartbeat over Justin Herbert today. Maybe not in 2 years, but today. Because Joe Burrow, there's nothing that rattles him. He got those games in at LSU. He got all those games in and practiced at Ohio State before he transferred to LSU. He's been in a Super Bowl. He won on the road in the playoffs. He completely made a run and knocked out the teams that everybody said they couldn't beat last year in the postseason until they got to the Rams and almost won that game. Man, he's battle tested. There's nothing in Justin Herbert to show he's battle tested, whether it's college or the pro so far.
If wins aren't a quarterback stat, then whose stat are they? If it's a team stat, you'd have to say that it'd have to be on the quarterback, because the quarterback's the only player on the field that touches the ball in every offensive play. How do you score? Through the offense.
Yeah.
It's what it comes down to at the end of the day. People keep talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. He has Christian McCaffrey. He has the same thing with Tua. He has Tyreek Hill. He's Jalen. Dude, they win. Like, period. Don't tell me that everybody in the NFL is good, dude. It doesn't matter who's on your team. You got to still make the plays. At the end of the day, Justin Herbert can make all the throws, but does he make the ones that matter? You know, Derwin James gives up the huge touchdown on Travis Kelce. It has nothing to do with Justin Herbert. But how are you going to respond? I saw Patrick Mahomes do it last year in 13 seconds. Maybe it's unfair criticism, but I've seen it done. So you can't say you're in the same conversation as Patrick Mahomes if you're not doing the same things.
I think it's not unfair criticism because of what you just said. Like, he was put with Mahomes, you know? Like, he's put with Allen. So it's like, dude, if you want to be put with them, you got to play with them, you know? You got to be in that conversation.
Yeah. You guys,
right.
Sorry. Do you want to, what are you going to say?
No, I was saying right now, looking at this team as, again, disappointing loss. You look at it, of course, it's the holiday week, and it's funny, man. Even in the NFL, guys, people practice on Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? I always thought that was kind of strange when I used to cover the Chargers at all their practices and go, what do you mean there's practice this morning? It's the way it goes. I mean, they got to get ready. It's right. It's the next game. You still have a chance. Obviously, their matchup coming up this week. We like the Chargers matchup and see exactly where they are health-wise. I think the best news for the Chargers going into what we're looking forward to, and we'll break the game down as we get even closer, is the fact that Mike Williams' injury isn't severe. It's not like he's starting back at ground zero for this high ankle sprain.
Yeah, no, that's huge news. If we can get Michael Williams back, like I said, we're going to be a contender for the playoffs. And nobody wants to play the Chargers if they have Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and throw in Gerald Everett as well. People don't want to match up against a tight end that can make any play on the field. I got a question for you, Mario, because I was talking to my dad about this, and I'm curious of what you said. If you had to pick a quarterback right now to be, lead your team, would you rather have Baker Mayfield or Zach Wilson?
Oh, ew. Oh.
Because it seems like neither one of those guys ever takes accountability for their mistakes.
I'd still take Mayfield for the point that he's a gamer.
What does that mean?
A game. My point with Baker is I think he will just keep going. Like, he will throw a pick and it will be a brutal pick, but he's just like, I'll do it again. Watch me. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that Baker point of I'm still gonna go. I'll take that over Zach Wilson, who dude, when he walks on that field, he looks like a scared puppy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he looks scared, and I wouldn't take that. I never had a lot of confidence in Wilson. I thought New York market would eat him alive. By the way, hand up, soft take on my part, because I'm saying this when we're 2 years in and he just did a terrible game. So nice one, getting on the take now. But I'm saying is I've never really been that big of a Zach Wilson fan. Who did you take, Dave?
I'm
yourself?
Not. When I take those two, over those guys, I probably take myself. I'm not a fan of either one. That's why I know Josh asked the question. He didn't give you a chance and out on that. They're both the same guy. I hate to say it. I think they're both the same damn guy. They're both cocky as hell. They're both kind of raised the same way, right? As you're hearing storylines over and over again of here are two spoiled kids that now won't take accountability. That's what they're known for. Two guys raised in the same kind of houses that are spoiled, that they haven't had to worry about anything, never had to say my fault, I'm sorry, any of that stuff. Zach Wilson's an idiot. And what I mean by that is, dude, you play in the number one media market. You can't tell me as a quarterback that you haven't gone through some kind of training on how to talk to the media, how to talk to your players. I mean, you're the leader of the whole franchise. To get 2 yards in the second half, and the question was easy. Do you feel like you let the defense down? Nope. No. Dude, why don't you just say, yeah, you know what? I got to do a better job starting with myself. Boom. That's it. It's all said and done. But when you go, nope. Dude, they held him to 3 points. You got 2 yards. I mean, literally, you could fall out of a bar and fall more than 2 yards. That's ridiculous. So for him to sit there and pull that move, if I'm any defensive player on that team, I'm just sitting on that airplane the whole time looking at him at the corner of my eye going, I want to punch you in the head as hard as I can right now. Like, I can't give this team anything more than I gave him. For you to sit there and say, we didn't do enough, which is what you're saying. Hey, they give up 3. Man, that cost us. If they would have given up 0, we win that game. I mean, that's what you're saying, your defense.
Shut them out.
If these guys would have shut him out, we would have won the game. I got them 3 points. I mean, he's out of his mind, dude. When I saw that, I was so disappointed in him. Mayfield, to me, is just a clown. He's a clown. He's been a clown before he went into the NFL. The fact he tried to run from the cops and got tackled against a brick wall when he was in college was embarrassing as hell. It was ridiculous. The fact that 2 weeks ago he's headbutting all his teammates without a helmet on, for what reason? Like that's a good idea? The NFL doesn't even want you doing that. I'm going to headbutt. The first or second one hurt like hell. He's sitting there going, oh, man, I got to keep going, though, because there are more guys keep walking my way. Who am I not going to headbutt? It was so stupid, and enough. So both those guys, whatever, disappointed. And that's why I know you're lucky to have a good guy. I know I went on a rant about like Justin Herbert and Tua and everybody else, but damn, man, use your head, be a leader. And if you can't handle the job because you are the face of the franchise, then I don't feel bad for you when you get replaced by somebody else.
Mario, you got to cut that clip. That was fantastic. That was one of the best rants we've had. Okay, so Baker Mayfield, I knew he was an idiot when he started talking to the Kansas fans. It's like, dude, that's like making fun of the dumbest kid in your class for getting a better test grade. What are you doing, you idiot? Yeah. And then Zach Wilson, he should have walked through the facility with the my bad position the whole week this week. It's right here, guys, my bad. The whole time. To say it's not your fault is ridiculous. Steve Young defending him on Monday Night Football last night is ridiculous.
You know why? That's a BYU thing.
BYU thing. Booger McFarland wouldn't let him off the hook, which was a good job by Booger McFarland. But, dude, to say to say it's not your fault when you had 2 yards in the whole second half is unbelievable. 77 passing yards. And then Robert Saleh, which is a defensive-minded coach, like we were talking earlier, he's like, dude, we're not committing to Zach Wilson going forward. This guy's not a leader. I love it for Robert Saleh, who's doing a great job leading a defense that has no quarterback. I really want to see what Joe Flacco does with that offense.
And also kind of a good time to do that in a way of the Bears defense sucks. You could try a lot of things and be okay because Fields will probably not play for him. It'll probably be Trevor Siemian. So your defense is probably going to shut him out again. You can be pretty free and call him whatever you want. Yeah, if we want to throw Mike White in there again, sure. We want Flacco. Is he elite? Sure. Like, might as well throw it in there because you got a terrible defense, kind of play around and see what you like in there. And I agree with you guys. Zach Wilson, what were you doing saying that to have all the media, New York media? Like, I have all the outlets that are really going to run with that and are going to overreact and are going to have the most eyes. It's really smart you did that to New York. Very good job. They never have a history of overreacting and, like, letting stuff go. They don't have those emotional problems. Like, nice job. Nice job. Great job, buddy.
What is again, how do you go from what is Zach Wilson's future? Like, let's say the Jets go, hey, he's not our guy. You know what? He's not our guy, and it's time to say goodbye, whatever it's this year, next year, 2 years. Where do you go? Dude, you're in New York. I mean, the Jets are finally a team that people are talking about again. No thanks to you, but they're finally a team. I mean, this is fantastic. We talked about this before, how New York teams hadn't done anything for 10 years. Like, all of them couldn't make the postseason and do anything or win championships for 10 years. All of a sudden, the Jets and the Giants are relevant. And you're like, dude, you might end up in Carolina. You might be the guy that replaces Mayfield down the line. Like, you blew it, dude. You were in the number one media market. And then that story comes out. Let's be honest, that crazy story that comes out like 4 months ago about the moms, that was nuts too. But we've moved on with that one. We moved on. Holy cow. What an idiot.
We have. Dude, the first thing you look at Zach Wilson the first thing you think of is MILF, in a weird way. That's the very first thing you think of when you think of Zach Wilson.
And bad
He's
football.
not off the hook. The fact that they took him when he played in the freaking BYU schedule is ridiculous, dude. Why do you think that's going to work out? Why do people keep doing that? Josh Allen is an outlier. The whole Wyoming thing, that doesn't happen. You know, look at Carson Wentz at North Dakota. That doesn't happen. People aren't supposed to be great players when they play in these bad conferences. I have no sympathy for this guy, man. What are some other storylines from this past weekend?
I mean, real quick,
Yeah.
but that's the point about Justin Herbert. You got a guy who has everything you want, face of the franchise, does everything you want, but here you go, you aren't helping him out. You aren't giving. He's giving you everything you want in a franchise quarterback. We aren't, meaning as a franchise, aren't doing everything we can to help this kid out. You have to have the right combination of quarterback, receiver, Justin Herbert, everything, because the Jets would kill to have a guy like Justin Herbert.
And to play off that real quick, like you take a guy like Herbert, we're probably in the most pro player era where like if Herbert wanted to go to the media tomorrow and say, I'm done with the Chargers, I want out. Chargers have to get him out. Like we're in that area where like most likely he'd be out within, before even next year. And the fact that we have this guy, which, has had tough bounces in the Chargers organization, and the fact that he's never given the media anything to run with in LA media, big market, the fact that, we never hear him outwardly criticize the organization or players or anything like that, that is huge. At the era that we're in right now, that is very, very huge. And if I'm the Chargers, if I'm Tommy Boy up in the big office, I want to keep Justin happy. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta keep Buddy happy. Because Buddy can go out in a week and say I want out, and it's not, you can't be David Stern talking to Allen Iverson. I tell you what to do. No, it's listen here, man. He can tell you what to do, and he can get what he wants.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question, Josh. I always like to play this game with LA. Is Justin Herbert ranked in the top 10 Los Angeles sports stars right now? Is he a top 10 athlete? No, in the city.
Yeah.
What do you think? Mario, what do you think?
Well,
I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking LeBron James. I'm talking Kawhi. I'm talking Aaron Donald, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. Everybody that plays sports in LA. Caleb Williams from USC right now is a bigger star than Justin Herbert.
No, he's
Austin
not.
Reeves.
Yes, he is. The
Justin
story
Herbert's-
is today, Caleb Williams is about to win the Heisman Trophy.
Okay, he wasn't playing against anybody.
It doesn't matter. I'm talking star power. You win the Heisman Trophy.
Justin Herbert.
You're in the top
Justin
10.
Herbert's a bigger star than Caleb Williams. Yeah. Justin Herbert's a bigger star than Caleb Williams.
So, Dave, to your point, is it like if walking down the street more popularity or name-wise popularity? I guess that's kind of the same thing. It's like name-wise popularity.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. National attention, the whole deal. I mean,
Yeah.
So I wonder, Josh. I'm curious to know. You guys.
Let's name the. Okay, let's make a definitive list of people that are more famous than Justin Herbert in LA. Okay, you got LeBron, and LeBron's more famous than Justin Herbert.
LeBron's number one.
Okay, then besides that, who can you definitively say is more popular right now?
Aaron Donald.
Anthony Davis.
Okay, it's three guys.
I'm
just saying he's in the top 10.
Kawhi.
Cooper Kupp.
Okay, I'll give you Cooper Kupp.
Paul George.
I wouldn't take Paul George over Justin Herbert.
Mookie Betts for sure. Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Mike Trout.
Yeah, just the NFL has way more fans than those other sports. So I can't definitively say they're more popular.
I would push back against Trout. This is going to sound crazy, but I've seen Trout literally walk through an airport and like no one even bat an eye. Like he sat down and everything, and I was like sitting there. I was like, "That's
what airport was this?
What
was this in Indiana?
No.
If it was baseball,
Philadelphia.
I was about to say if it was Indiana, I wouldn't even count it because Indiana. If you say Babe Ruth reborn again's right there or something, that'd be like cool. I don't care. Where's Larry Bird? Like I wouldn't care. Atlanta Airport, and I was like that's Mike Trout. And
no way.
Yeah.
That's
my only pushback because baseball doesn't. I don't think baseball carries the rise out of NFL does.
Yeah. Again. Yeah. So I mean, my point is, man. Mario kind of said it a second ago. What if Justin Herbert pulled the Lamar Jackson deal? kind of said, you know what? You guys go ahead and franchise tag me all you want, but I will never sign a long-term deal here. Like, you got to prove to him at some point you're all in on his career.
Nah, he has more Philip Rivers in him where he's not going to leave. He just doesn't have that. Yeah, he's not that guy. You know
what stinks about that is that you're never you're never going to win that way. Like, you want like that. You're not that guy. Trust me. Look, but I don't want him to leave. My point is, you got to prove to him that, hey, man, we're all in on you. Like, our future and our best chance of winning ever is because of a guy like you that comes around once every 20 years. Maybe comes around once every 20 years.
Yeah, even if you don't prove it to him, I don't think he has it in him to be like complaining. There's nothing that he's shown. So hopefully he does, dude. I'm really big on complaining. Hopefully he gets upset, because I would love to see him get upset. Show some emotion. This isn't good enough. That's what I want as a fan.
There's the good Kobe complaint. Kobe pushed for my beloved Bulls, and then they got Paul Gasol all of a sudden. Look what happened. Like, there's that good complaint where like that can work. I think the other way that Herbert would stay, no matter what, where you kind of have that Philip Rivers commitment, you can make a lot of money in LA. There's a lot of endorsements you can get, a lot of stuff you can get. I mean, he's on Subway commercials already, and he's got that beautiful face. We can market that. You market that sucker on anything. So I think that's like a little thing. That was Shaq's big reason. Back in the day of him going to choosing the Lakers, he wanted to be in Hollywood. He wanted these deals and stuff like that. So that's a little something on the side that keeps Herbert staying put.
Yeah, no, he's better to look at than Jared from Subway, and then Shaq taking over for Papa John. Papa John's was a good move too. Hopefully,
why don't they call it Papa Shaq's?
They should.
They should have.
100%.
They should. Yeah, they should have.
Is he still with them?
Yeah, he is actually.
Yeah,
I looked
he just did a commercial. Right. Yeah.
All right. Whatever.
All right. Damn it. All right. So look, Thanksgiving coming up in a couple days, guys, and then we'll come back to the show. Any big plans, Mario, for Thanksgiving for you, for your family?
So I did Thanksgiving with the fam on Saturday because we have so many rugrats now and so many kids. So we all did ours Saturday already. Great food, everything like that. Great to see the nieces and nephews, all the siblings. My sister, shout out to my sister. I wanted to do this right before. She's probably going to pop open a kid. I forget the date, but it's either today, tomorrow, or Saturday. One of those windows. So shout out to her. She stole the name. I wanted to name my daughter. It's fine. It's fine. But
you got to give the name. What's the name?
Well, so I don't know if she wants me to say the name because I'm like, she didn't want to tell anyone the name. And so like, only me and my mom know.
Don't say it.
Yeah, I won't say it. That was very quick on my feet. I almost just said it. And I have family that listen to this. So that I'll tell you what, I would be the first one to meet the kid if that would happen. What about you guys in the Sin City? What are the big plans of the Pally family? Sin City, is that Los Angeles? Sin City?
No, that's
Vegas.
That's Vegas. No, we're known as we're America's finest city, is what we're known as. San Diego.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to my head.
No joke. It is the title we gave ourselves. I'm not joking on that one. It is. San Diego is always known as America's finest city, and then I lived here for a long time. I was like, who calls us that? And I realized we're the only ones that call us ourselves that. But that's it. San Diego, America's finest city. Weather's supposed to be nice. Supposed to be in the 70s. Going to be nice. We're going to be probably about 5 miles. I don't know, maybe 5 miles, 2 miles from the Pacific Ocean, pound for pound, the greatest ocean in the world, right, Josh? And then that's a Family Guy line, by the way. And but yeah, it's going to be a good time. Probably 50, 60 people coming in from DC and Florida and all over California, and it'll be a nice time seeing family and friends. If anybody tries to change a channel during a football game, they're going to leave with a separated shoulder. But those are the rules. And I think overall it'll be it'll be a nice time, man. It'll be a good time.
All right,
rank your family members.
Rank our family members. The ones that let me watch football are at the top.
Yeah.
All right, top 3 Thanksgiving foods, real quick. What do you guys have?
All right, I'll go with my favorite right now. I'm just give you all 3 of my favorites, okay? And you're gonna laugh. Okay, people are gonna sit there and go, "What are you talking about?" Look, I married into an Italian family. Josh is half Italian. Mario's Italian. Okay, I don't know about you, Mario, but my favorite thing at Thanksgiving's the lasagna.
Yes,
man.
Yes.
You guys get the lasagna too?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Lasagna by far my favorite. I still love the mashed potatoes with the gravy, and I still love stuffing. And that has nothing to do with turkey, but I'm telling you, It's like going to Vegas and one of the buffets. You just eat all the starches, dude. But man, I can't get enough lasagna at Thanksgiving, which I know everyone else is going, what the hell are you guys talking about? But that's what Italians do.
No, dude, it's incredible.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'll go top 3. I'll take out lasagna because I'll just do traditional. Go mashed potatoes number 1. Love mashed potatoes. Go mac and cheese number 2. Stuffing number 3. Big carb guy.
Okay.
Gotta load.
Josh, did you play basketball growing up?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Did you guys have practices after Thanksgiving in school every single year?
I think we did. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you did.
So.
But you mean that same day or the next day?
The next day, because in
Oh,
Indiana,
the next day, yes. Next day, yes.
In Indiana, it was tradition where the practice after Thanksgiving was the worst practice you'll ever go through. So I threw up stuffing one year because you throw up. That's all the coaches are like, we're gonna run you until you throw up. I'm like, I'm 13 years old. Why are we doing this, dude? You know, like, what are we playing for? So I can't eat stuffing anymore. So stuffing's off my list. I'm a dessert guy. Apple pie, just by far the best. Didn't have it until like 2 years ago. It's the first time I ever tried it. Amazing. Traditionally, lasagna.
Wait, you had apple pie till 2 years ago?
Yeah, literally 2 years ago.
Dude, what the hell? I never heard of such a thing.
Crazy. I don't know why I never ate it. I just never did.
What kind of pie were you eating?
Yeah, what were you eating?
I used to eat pumpkin pie all the time, but then I threw that up at basketball practice. So thanks, freaking Indiana high school basketball. I'm glad we worked hard for that 10 and 15 record. Yeah, so apple pie's got to be my number 1. I'm a big ham on Thanksgiving. I'm not a big turkey guy, so I'll take ham over that every single time. And then to close it out, cheesy potatoes. Cheesy potatoes. Give me a little cheese potatoes. That's where I like to go. It's always the best. Favorite cocktail before we go on Thanksgiving, if you have one.
I'm a vodka guy, dude. Anything vodka, I like. That's my
okay.
thing.
I respect that.
Yeah, I don't have one, man. I'll drink whatever everyone else is drinking. I don't have I'm not that guy that goes, hey, don't my drink. I don't have a go-to drink.
Yeah,
he's a big White Claw guy with the spicy ring.
yeah. Watching the carbs.
I just want to say it. I just want to say it. You're absolutely right. That's 100% it. I will tell you this, Mario. Turkey Bowl. Josh and I by far have set every Turkey Bowl record. Right?
Really? There you go.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I average about 11 touchdown passes a game, and this guy averages about 11 touchdown receptions a game. Every year we cleaned up. Yeah, we cleaned up. Josh is 6'6", dude. I just chuck it up. And it was fantastic.
In everyone else's defense, I mean, should we be surprised by Josh? He was a Bama football
Yeah, but he was playing receiver. He played quarterback.
Playing out of position, dude.
Yeah, he was playing out of position for the team.
Yeah.
He took it for the team.
Yeah.
And then we got in the car, we'd laugh at the other dads and sons and go, I would beat their ass.
Take their wives after it. It's just another Thanksgiving special.
Pick up Zach Wilson, talk about it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, we're going to come back on Friday. We're going to knock out the show heading into the Chargers-Knicks game. Hope they get back to the winning side of things. We're going to be joined by Fernando Ramirez. It's going to be fantastic. Also, congratulations to your sister, No Joke Mar. That's fantastic. Good for your family. That's great news. And at that time, you will tell us what the name is, correct?
Yes. I'll be able to say the name. I'll tell you the name of her first kid because she married an Italian guy, and he sounds like he was a hitman in The Irishman. So he does. Asher's Charles Castino.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
wow.
It does. Yeah.
That's a hell of a name.
I know someone that named their first daughter after their grandmother, so they just named the kid Nana. It was kind of crazy, but I just made that up. That never happened. Okay, so for Josh Palais, Mario Heron, I'm Dave Palais. We'll see you in a couple days, everyone. Thanks again for listening to the Bolt City podcast, courtesy of Odyssey.